Hey everyone, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. Welcome to the NoDQ.com SummerSlam 2017 predictions video. I am being joined by the reigning and defending undisputed NoDQ.com wrestling trivia champion, good old JM Jeff Meacham. We are also being joined...
You don't get to introduce her. That's my job.
Okay.
She pays me well for that, so I gotta make sure I gotta get the shots in when I can. Ladies and gentlemen, I have brought to you tonight here on the NoDQ panel to officially predict SummerSlam, along with Aaron Rift, of course, and myself,
and
and the dogs, apparently, the future undefeated, undisputed women's champion in all of wrestling. I give you Jexy.
Hey, yo. That's good.
That was a good intro, Jeff. Thank you, Jexy, for being on today. This is your second time on the NoDQ panel. You were a very popular guest, as you can imagine, from an audience of like 95% men. So thank you for being on and helping us out with the viewership. And, of course, Jeff knows his stuff. He is the West Coast professor, the trivia expert, the most knowledgeable person on the wrestling internet scene.
That's right. And don't anybody forget that, including people I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. We'll get to that at the end of the show.
At the end. We'll save that for the end. But anyways, we got the SummerSlam pay-per-view. It is going to be a very long show. We got a 2-hour kickoff as well as a 4+ hour main pay-per-view. At this point, as of the recording of this video, we do not know what the kickoff matches are, but I'm going to assume the Cruiserweight title match will be one of them. So the interesting thing about SummerSlam and the predictions video here is we were originally going to record the predictions video. We were originally going to record the predictions video before Raw, and then I figured, okay, maybe that's not a good idea, and as it turned out, it would not have been a good idea. Then we were talking about recording the video before SmackDown Live, and again, I'm glad we waited because it would have been a bad idea. We'll talk about.
And whose idea was to tape after SmackDown? Whose idea was that? That was mine. Thank you very much.
Was. So anyways, let's talk about the Cruiserweight title match, which is Tozawa, who is now the Cruiserweight champion, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. Tozawa is the new champion. Neville will be getting his rematch. They had a match on Raw, which was a surprise to me. I was not expecting them to have that match take place on Raw. We had Tozawa winning the title, and now we have a rematch set up for SummerSlam. I'm guessing it's going to be a kickoff match. So, Jeff, you seem to be very happy about it. How do you feel about Tozawa being champion, and what do you think will happen next?
You know, it's funny. I was talking with a very good friend of mine who shall remain nameless. I don't want to, put her down or anything because she's very intelligent, but she's not very high on Tozawa. She's not like her guy on the Cruiserweight show is what's his name? I forgot his name. Doesn't matter, apparently. But she's not a huge fan of Tozawa. And I said, yeah, you know what? Tozawa isn't always the flashiest guy or the most, charismatic guy, but he worked his butt off to get where he was Monday night. He is the Cruiserweight champion of the world. He's the top Cruiserweight in WWE right now. And again, that's not saying a whole lot with the WWE Cruiserweight the way it's been booked, but the fact that they gave this match to us Monday night to build for SummerSlam is indicative that they may be taking the step further again like they did for the Classic last summer. So hopefully this feud jumpstarts the division again. Now, I will say that in order for the momentum to keep going, Tozawa's got to win Sunday, and I believe he will. Because if they go back to Neville regaining it right away, then we're going to be back in stagnation for the next 8 months again, and that's just not the way they need to go, in my opinion.
Jexy, what do you think?
I agree. Tozawa, he's good, and I agree. If they give it right back to Neville, it's just going to kill it. Neville has been a really good face for the Cruiserweights. He's really solid. So I think those two will bring out a lot in each other, but I'm going to give it to Tozawa too.
All right, interesting. I mean, I was really surprised by the outcome. I was expecting Neville to remain champion until somebody from NXT got called up, maybe somebody like Johnny Gargano, and possibly that guy could get a rub off of Neville by beating him and winning the title, ending his reign of terror. I mean, I like Tozawa as much as everyone else, but I mean, I'm not blown away by him. I don't really see him as a major superstar. He has the whole thing, which the kids like, but I don't know. To me, it's very one-dimensional. I think he's a good wrestler, but I don't know. I don't think he really stands out that much. And to be perfectly honest, I have this feeling Neville's going to win back the title. I have this feeling that it was just done to draw up some interest in the match and just do something different to get people talking, because literally nobody was talking about the Cruiserweight division until Monday. So I think maybe that was done just to get some interest in that match, period, because the Cruiserweight division needs something. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, the problem is that's why you pay me and that's why she pays me, because I'm the one that had the informed opinion. Tozawa is the guy. He's got to be the guy. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Well, I agree on that. They need somebody. I mean, they have nobody really to be at Neville's level, and I guess they're trying to go with Tozawa.
And see, you mentioned Gargano. Gargano's got to have the blow off with Ciampa first. Once they have that blow off in NXT, whether it's at Survivor Series or whenever Ciampa's ready to go, once they blow that match off, then they can have one, if not both of them, come up and do what they need to do.
But that's not going to happen until early next year. Ciampa's not coming back anytime soon. My idea, as I talked about on the 1000th No DQ video, my idea was Gargano would be called up, would beat Neville, and then Ciampa would debut on the main roster as well, and that would set up Ciampa versus Gargano at WrestleMania for the Cruiserweight title. That was my idea.
Now, see, that I don't necessarily see as a bad idea. That's actually a very good idea, which is why they pay you. But I personally like to see Gargano and Ciampa at WrestleMania. It'd be a hell of a match. It'd be a hell of a Cruiserweight match. And it'd really be solid for the Cruiserweight division to get something like that match. So I will concede that. But I think they're going to maybe go in the opposite direction. Have Tozawa reign for a while, and then maybe have Ciampa come up first when he comes back. Have him beat Tozawa, and then Gargano beats Ciampa at WrestleMania for the title.
That's a good idea. I like that one. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it could definitely go in any number of directions now, and I guess that's the idea, to make it a little bit more unpredictable and get people wondering what's going to happen next.
After SmackDown, clearly that's the case.
Yes, definitely. We'll talk more about what happened on SmackDown. Definitely some interesting turn of events on SmackDown.
My brain is still hurting from SmackDown, put it that way.
All right, let's talk about the other match that I think will probably be the kickoff, the second kickoff match. I think they got to have at least two with a 2-hour kickoff show. But we have the Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo Amore in a shark cage. So normally the heel is the guy who's in the shark cage, like Jerry Lawler back in '95 when it was Bret Hart versus Isaac Yankem. This is really weird. I've seen various theories about this match. I've seen one theory that maybe Enzo is going to turn heel and Enzo and Cass are going to reunite. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think they did such a good job with the breakup. Having them reunite this soon, I'm not sure how I feel about it. What do you think, Jexy? What's your prediction for this match?
I'm going to have to give it to Cass, because it's been shown before in the past. China did it 20 years ago in '97 with Trips and Owen Hart.
Yeah. That
the cage doesn't mean anything. And Big Show it's not going to serve him any purpose really to win, especially with Cass being built up, and your enemies are your friends in cases like that. So I think it would be beneficial for them to have Enzo interfere and to help out Cass. Now, whether they end up teaming together or not, it could be temporary and then turn into a bigger feud for them further down the line.
What do you think, Jam?
Leave it to our girl to mention our girl Joni. I love it. Absolutely. In the shark cage. Now, I will say it depends on the shark cage. China will bend the bars and get out of the shark cage because she's a badass. JJ Dillon,
Enzo.
Jerry Lawler, JJ Dillon, they'll hide in the shark cage, get nosebleeds, and be scared to freaking death. Enzo, Aaron kind of totally stole my mojo on the theory, but I'll go ahead and go with it anyway. I think he's going to get out of the cage, and one of two things: either he's going to turn on purpose and cost Big Show the match, or he's going to flub up and cost Big Show the match. Either way, Enzo will be the deciding factor, and Cass will win this match.
That's what I think. The second part of what you said, I think Enzo's going to try and help the Big Show, but it's going to backfire, because that's how WWE likes to book Enzo. They like to book Enzo like he's a goof and he screws up. And
see, what I think is going to happen is it's going to set Big Show off so much he'll be one step closer to having more babyface heel turns.
Oh, no,
than I have Mickey pictures.
No,
Then I have Mickey pictures.
Please, no
He's
more
getting
Big
close.
Show
He's
turns.
getting close.
Please don't even suggest that.
Another single match with him?
No.
There we go.
Please, no. I will quit. I will quit doing this. If Big
You're
Show
quitting anyway. What are you talking about?
If Big Show ever does another sumo match, I am done. That was like the worst WrestleMania match I've ever seen in person. But that's a whole other topic.
I thought you were hiatus anyway from 1000. I thought you were on hiatus anyway.
For a little bit, but I'm just gonna quit everything. I'm done.
Okay.
I'll sell no DQ to you if Big Show.
I'll buy it. That's fine. I'll buy it from you. Well, I'll take it.
I'm not sure with
fine.
what money, but I'll sell it to you.
I'll think. Oh, see.
You have to take out a loan from one of our friends. Although I'm not sure if any of our friends have any money.
See, our friend's about as poor as I am. What are you talking about?
Maybe even worse at this point.
Definitely worse.
So we're all going with Cass then, I'm assuming.
We're all going with Cass. I'm actually surprised too, but not the way I thought I was going to be surprised. Put it that way.
All right. So far, well, you two are going with Tozawa. I'm going with Neville. So that's the only difference.
That is correct.
So far. All right. Next up, we have Bray Wyatt versus not Finn Balor, but the Demon Finn Balor.
Yes.
They had a match on Raw, which was another surprise. I was not expecting them to have a one-on-one match on Raw, but I guess this one does make sense. I mean, I think we all assumed that Finn Balor was going to be the Demon at SummerSlam, but I guess WWE wanted to make it crystal clear to all the casual fans out there, so they did the match on Raw and did the little bloodbath thing, with Bray Wyatt using Henry O'Godwin's bucket of blood and pouring it over him. Yeah. I thought that was
all
kind
I
of
know
interesting.
is, if they're going to do blood, they should have done a full-on blood gangrel, but before the lights went out and came back on, he was just drenched in blood. It would have been so much more cooler effect, I think.
I mean, it was interesting. But anyways, now we have Finn Balor saying he is going to be there as the Demon King. And this is, to me, I think this actually hurts the match in a way because I think it's almost a given now that Balor's winning. Balor lost on Raw, and he's coming to SummerSlam as the Demon King. I cannot imagine him losing again as the Demon character. What do you think, Jeff?
Absolutely agree. And who better to beat a god than a demon? So, that's just the way, I mean, they're putting it up like that because, nobody can beat a god. A god's immortal. A god can do anything. But a demon is capable of anything that a god is not, even more evil things than a god is capable of doing. So that's just the way it's going to be. The Demon King will prevail. And I think Jexy will agree with me on that.
I do, 100%. I'm a huge Balor fan. He's amazing. And honestly, I think this is not going to be a sleeper match, but I think it's going to be one that's really going to surprise people at how good it is. Because I see those two just going at it. And I agree. Balor's going to go. He's going to win.
Yeah, I think Bray worked on his cardio quite a bit in the last year and a half, so I think he'll be able to go a longer distance in a match with a guy like Balor, who is just capable of anything and everything. And let us pray that there's not a SummerSlam repeat for Balor like last year.
Yeah, no injuries from Balor. Hopefully
right.
He has a strong showing here. So we're all going with Balor on this one. Next up, we have the Raw Tag Team titles. We have Sheamus and Cesaro against the reunited Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And I have to praise WWE. I thought they did a tremendous job slowly building up the reuniting of Ambrose and Rollins. And then that segment on Raw this week, I mean, the crowd was red hot for it. And when they finally did the fist bump at the end, the place just went absolutely nuts. So WWE did this right. They did a great build-up for this. And now I think we need to see a title change. I think that Ambrose and Rollins are red hot, and I say go with it. Go with them as tag team champions and see what happens over the next couple of months. I mean, I don't think Rollins is going to be back in the title picture anytime soon. So you might as well do this with Ambrose and Rollins and maybe even get Reigns involved and have all three Shield members reunited in the next month or two. Jexy, what do you think?
I am in the same wavelength that you are. I think it makes perfect sense to have them keep going and to win because otherwise it kind of kills the momentum of them getting back together. And then bringing Reigns into the picture, I think a lot of people have been wanting to see that for a while. And Reigns needs a little bit more than what he's currently doing because it's kind of stagnant.
What do you think, Jeff?
It's funny. I think Reigns needs the Shield more than Ambrose and Rollins need to be back together.
Yeah.
I think Reigns needs that so bad because I think at their core, the WWE Universe wants a reason to cheer for Roman Reigns again. I think there's that little that's like, okay, we want to cheer for this guy, but he's on his own. It's not the same. If the Shield gets back together after SummerSlam, which will probably happen, I say go for it. So I say Ambrose and Rollins become champions.
Yes. So we're all in agreement on that. New tag team champions. Maybe they'll have a rematch. Maybe somebody will team up with Sheamus and Cesaro, which will lead up to Reigns being brought back into the Shield Brotherhood at No Mercy or one of the next pay-per-views. All right. So,
I honestly think I think it should happen at SummerSlam if Reigns wins or loses the championship. That way there's if Reigns wins the championship, it's a huge build. The Shield are all champions.
Well, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We'll get to that. Next up, we have the SmackDown Tag Team titles. We have the New Day versus the Usos. Now, on SmackDown, we had the Usos beating New Day in a tag team match with, I'm not sure which two it was. I think it was, Jexy, do you know which two members it was? I think it was Xavier and Kofi. And on SummerSlam, it'll be Big E in the match instead. So I guess that's the idea, that the Usos beat the lighter guys and they didn't beat Big E, whatever. But the fact that Usos won on SmackDown makes me think they're losing on the pay-per-view, just that typical WWE booking logic. So I'm going to go with New Day to retain. Jeff, what do you think?
I'm going to throw a curveball and say the Usos.
Interesting. What do you think, Jackson?
I'm not honestly sure why I think that way. I just have a feeling.
You just want to be different, have a different prediction.
No. That's part of it. But I also honestly think there's either Big E's going to turn and be pissed off that he was singled out in the attack, or something's going to happen where the Usos get kind of a shady victory.
Well, you know what? I'm all for the Usos winning the titles. I like the Usos. I feel they're too. I feel they're way more entertaining than New Day at this stage of the game.
Yep, I agree.
What do you think, Jexy?
I was really torn until today, but I'm going to have to go with the Usos as well, especially after Great Balls of Fire last month. And how that all went down, how that ended. I think they're going to look to finish the match clean this time.
Was it Great Balls of Fire or Battleground? Great Balls of Fire.
Whichever one was SmackDown.
It's so confusing now. I
don't remember.
Whichever one was SmackDown.
SmackDown was Battleground. We're all trying to forget Battleground. We're trying not to remember Battleground. Great Balls of Fire was somewhat decent.
It was Battleground. You're right. The last one, the very last pay-per-view. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was Battleground, but I don't blame you for that, because Great Balls of Fire was definitely a better show, and we're all trying to forget about Battleground. Well,
poor SmackDown, man, seriously.
Pay-per-views I've ever seen in my life, and that is in the most respectful way possible. It was awful.
Yes. Yeah, that is putting it mildly. Hopefully, the SmackDown portion of this pay-per-view will be better than Battleground. I'm sure it will be, but it's going to be, I think, the main event on Raw that's really going to carry the show. But again, we'll get to that in a few minutes.
After they're riding on Tuesday, you're really going to expect to have a good showing, really?
I don't know. But anyways, I hope Usos win, but I'm predicting.
I do too. I'm
predicting New Day to win, unfortunately, but my heart wants Usos to win. All right, moving on here, we have John Cena versus Baron Corbin with special guest referee Jeff's dog, apparently.
That's right. No, Jeff's son, actually.
So we'll tie this in. We'll also talk about, we'll lead into the WWE title match after this. So we'll talk about Cena versus Corbin first. So basically on SmackDown, we had, in the main event, John Cena versus Jinder Mahal. John Cena hit the Super AA. He was about to win the match when Baron Corbin interfered and stopped the pinfall. At this point, Baron Corbin decided to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase on Jinder Mahal.
Contract. Shame on you.
Thank you for correcting me, Jeff. I need to
You're welcome.
The WWE lingo here.
Can't piss Vince off, man. I'm just saying.
Exactly. We had Mahal trying to get to his feet. The referee was seeing if Mahal could go, and I was confused by this because I was always of the assumption that the Money in the Bank contract holder could cash it in anywhere, anytime, and he could just go right for the pinfall.
Well, no, that's only the case if the company's trying to screw CM Punk out of the title or if Triple H is trying to screw Daniel Bryan out of the title. That's the only time that's allowed.
Gotcha. Okay. But anyways, Mahal...
Keep that clear.
I thought for sure this was going to end with some sort of shenanigans, like John Cena would jump Corbin from behind and that would just throw the whole thing out. But the bell actually rang and the match was underway. Corbin was about to hit Mahal with a big move, but then Cena was on the apron and Corbin tried to swing at Cena, and then Mahal took advantage of the situation and rolled up Baron Corbin. This was after Mahal took the Super AA, by the way. He was able
and the AA too, yeah.
He was able to roll up a fresh Baron Corbin and pin Corbin. And that's it. Corbin has failed to cash in Money in the Bank. So, Jex, I know you saw SmackDown. What were your thoughts on this whole segment, and what do you think is going to happen now with this Cena versus Corbin match?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. As far as SmackDown, though, I thought it didn't make any sense for a lot of different reasons. I don't think that they did that in a very smart way. But to kind of get ahead of myself, I see them putting Corbin with Randy Orton. I see them and pushing them together. So I want to say Corbin, but my gut tells me that it's going to be Cena because of what happened tonight. And it kind of buried Corbin in a way where it's like you just got rolled up, you were fresh, and you lost in a roll-up, and then you're going to go beat John Cena in a match.
It's really weird.
It
doesn't make any sense. Jeff, what do you think?
This is the man who my son abandoned Kofi Kingston for, the great Baron Corbin, the badass Baron Corbin, and he loses to a roll-up from the worst WWE champion in recent memory. After that champion took 2 AAs, one of them being a Super AA.
Yeah.
Corbin is buried. He will never, as the guy from New Holds Barred said, he will never come back from this train wreck. But I still think he wins Sunday.
Interesting.
I think Jexy's got it right on the money there, where he's going to go into a feud with Randy Orton to kind of try to rescue whatever the hell's left of him to rescue. So in order for him to get to Randy Orton, he's got to defeat John Cena. Shenanigans or not, he will win.
I wonder if something else is going on, if the company's just throwing in the towel on Corbin. I mean, quite frankly, I'm over Corbin. I mean, I was never that high on him to begin with. I think Greg Cherry and Virtue were higher on Corbin than I was, and you too. I mean, I think he's all right.
Big time, me.
I think he's missing something, and I'm totally over Mahal as champion. I mean, I think that this is.
I was over Mahal when he won the title.
I was over Mahal when he won that 6-man match. I was over Mahal when he was the runner-up in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I was like, really?
I was over Mahal when they fired him the first time and actually brought him back for no reason. So
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the thing with Corbin too is, if you think about how long has he held on to the contract? Months. He's held on to it. Yeah. And you would normally that they would give him the opportunity to cash in at SummerSlam, not just give him a match, because otherwise what do you cash in on? What's the next big pay-per-view? What do you, I mean, like it doesn't make sense to me. It seemed rushed, and like they just did it to get that out of the way, to say, oh, he cashed in, now we can move on. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I am convinced that Road Dogg's Wake and Bake was laced Tuesday morning. I'm just throwing it out there.
Has Road Dogg blocked you yet?
He will.
Yeah, if he hasn't already, he will.
Let me be clear. I love Brian. He is an awesome guy. I met him a few times, and he's a big advocate, as am I, as is Rob, everybody else. But the writing on SmackDown lately has just been atrocious.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, as far as my prediction for the match, I could see Corbin winning just because he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase. But the thing is, Cena is heading over to Raw, and Cena is probably going to be in a big match at No Mercy. And Cena just lost clean to Nakamura, so is he really going to lose again? I find that hard to believe. When was the last time John Cena lost 2 big matches in a row in a short period of time? It almost never happens. I cannot recall a time. Like in a 1-month period, was there ever a time where John Cena lost twice in a row, with one of those times being clean? It doesn't happen. I think the odds are
not in many years, if ever. Yeah, exactly.
I'm the one that coined the phrase, it's hard to bet against John Cena, and I cannot bet against him. I have to go with Cena to win this. I think Corbin...
Well, the thing is, you coined it, but John Bradshaw Layfield ran with it. Big match John, he ran with that thing. He totally stole it from you, which is why he blocked you.
Exactly. But I got to go with Cena for this, and I wonder what's going on with Corbin. I wonder if somebody just decided, this is not working.
I don't get it either. It boggles the mind.
Yeah, I'll be really interested if Corbin wins, though. I'll definitely wonder what the hell is going on if Corbin wins on Sunday after failing to cash in Money in the Bank.
So before we get to the WWE Championship match, I forgot, is Orton fighting Rusev? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, but I want to lead into the WWE title match since we've been on the topic of Jinder Mahal. Sorry, because
Jake Smith Orton, I went, who's Orton? I forgot who Orton was fighting until a second ago.
Yeah, so Shinsuke Nakamura is coming off the biggest win of his career, beating John Cena clean a few weeks ago. Jinder Mahal, he lost to Randy Orton clean last week, and then this week was on the verge of losing. He was definitely going to lose. if it wasn't for Corbin's interference, Mahal was going to lose. So Mahal has been
2 weeks in a row
really weak as champion, which makes me think they're giving up on him, but I'm not sure. Jexy, what do you think? What are your predictions for this match?
I'm giving it to Shinsuke. I think it's his time. He's been building up for a while, and not to like capitalize on NJPW, but it is really popular. Not that it necessarily crosses over with the majority of the WWE fans, but Japanese wrestling and the Japanese wrestlers in general are really gaining a lot of popularity. I think Shinsuke, exactly like you just said, as far as, you know, not Shinsuke losing, but Jinder losing to Orton, and then is exactly what happened tonight. I just think it makes sense, and I want to see it myself. I want to see Nakamura go over.
Jeff, what do you think?
They have, you know what? It's funny. They talk about, you know, pinning their hopes on somebody to make something happen. They have bet the farm with Nakamura in recent years. They built him to be one of the greatest NXT champions of recent memory, and now they're building him toward the championship. And if anything happens but him walking out of Brooklyn as champion, the people are going to have a big fart in church moment, and it's not going to go over at all. It's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Nakamura will win, but I would not be surprised if WWE throws the biggest Russo swerve at us ever and says no.
Now, I think this is going to be one of those crowds that isn't into Mahal at all. I mean, I'm surprised he has not gone booed out of the building in a go away type of manner. I mean, people have been booing him, you know, like they're supposed to boo him. But I have a feeling this crowd is going to be like against Mahal in a go away type of manner, you know, like that X-Pac heat.
I was going to say, nobody generated the X-Pac heat like X-Pac. Let's be clear on that. I love Sean, but it's a reality situation. I don't think Mahal has the X-Pac heat. He does with the three of us, because I'm over his stuff a long time ago. But I think the general consensus of the WWE universe is they want him to succeed, so people can see that the WWE is the outland of opportunity. Right. And especially SmackDown, like Shane McMahon always said, land of opportunity. I will say though that the people will boo him more than they have since Backlash when he won the championship. But it will still be a booing of, you know what, you did what you had to do. The company gave you the ball, but Nakamura's our guy, so we don't like you tonight.
Exactly. I think the fans will be very upset if Nakamura does not win. What I would like to see happen is Nakamura wins, and then Mahal gets his rematch at Hell in a Cell. But leading up to Hell in a Cell, Mahal picks up some big wins, and he gets some credibility as being a legitimate challenger for the championship. And you build him as a real badass. He starts having this vicious streak, and he hurts people, and he starts being a force to be reckoned with on his own without the help of the other guys. I would like to see that happen.
He has to break away from the Singh brothers. He has to.
I agree with that, both of you. I think Aaron was right in the first place when they said they've kind of just laid their cards out and said, you know what, we're done with Mahal, and I think they're going to just completely bury him after Sunday. And that's a shame, because I like Jinder Mahal and the way he's developed as WWE champion. I think he's been given a hell of a lot of responsibility, and he's ran with it. Yeah, he's a heel champion. Yeah, he cheats, but you know what? Would Ric Flair have been 16-time champion as the Horseman? No, he wouldn't have. Honest to God, he wouldn't have. So Eddie Guerrero, lie, cheat, and steal. Thank you. See, that's why she's hired. That's why she's my girl. He needs to get rid of the Singh brothers, but I think also if he and the Singh brothers just become completely badass vicious, it can also work.
I agree. I think Nakamura should win and then do something else with Mahal. It's not that I have a problem with Jinder Mahal. I think the guy's a really hard worker. I just think that he's being portrayed in the wrong manner. I think that the stuff he was doing on Talking Smack when he was speaking from the heart and just being himself, I liked that a lot better than him being your stereotypical anti-American and doing that whole gimmick. I want to see more of Mahal just being himself.
I have said in private chats to everybody I talk to, Talking Smack going away has been the single biggest detriment to SmackDown in a long time, because people were allowed to be who they were on SmackDown, not some blown-up character. They came to that table, they sit with Brian, they sit with Renee, and they shoot from the frickin' hip. And they can't do that anymore, and it's horse crap.
I agree on that. So
come on our show and talk, guys, please.
Are we all going with Nakamura then?
We are indeed.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we got more SmackDown matches here. This is actually a pretty SmackDown-heavy show, so hopefully that's not a bad thing. We'll see what happens. We have, let's talk about Randy Orton versus Rusev, since we were talking about Randy Orton a few minutes ago. This one, I think, is one of the hardest matches to predict. I'm really not sure, so I'm going to go last. Jeff, I'll let you go first. Actually, you know what? Jeff, you go first, I'll go second, and then Jexy can go third to change it up a little bit.
There you go. I like that. See, I don't know who really neither one of them really need anything at this point. I mean, Rusev is going to be who he is. He's going to be that mid-card guy that teases us he's going to get the upper echelon, but he's never going to get there. Randy Orton, as JBL is famous saying, 14-time world champion. He is who he is. Randy's one of the greatest ever. He will always be one of the greatest ever. So this match is definitely a feel, okay, you have anything to do and nothing for you to do, let's just do this. So I'm literally, if I had a coin, I'd flip a coin, just make a pick. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head and say Rusev.
I'm going to go with Rusev, too. I think that Rusev, needs a little bit more than Randy Orton, but I could see it going either way. I mean, I'm not sure if Rusev can really be salvaged at this point. However, Randy Orton did pick up that clean win over Mahal last week, and Rusev is coming off a loss to John Cena at the infamous Battleground pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I just think if there's any chance of saving Rusev, he needs to win this match. If Rusev loses here, I think that's a sign they've given up on him as well.
Well, what's funny is the two of them, him and Lana, were much, much better when they were together. I would have to agree with that. And both of them have suffered tremendously after the breakup.
I agree 100% on that. Lexi, what do you think? Jexy. Did I call you Lexi? Like Lexi?
I called her Lexi. I'm not managing Alexa Bliss. I'm managing Jexy. Big difference for now.
Hey, we're the same height. We're both from Ohio.
This is very true. Except I dig redheads more than blondes, Diana.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. You know, I have to agree. It's hard to predict because Rusev and Orton both lost last time around. You know, the Punjabi prison match or whatever wasn't clean. But Rusev, for me, he's so bleh. Like, it's like, whatever, you know. And with him losing with Cena, I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Orton because it's SummerSlam.
There you go. All right. So.
Well, it's funny you say that because Rusev's act has always been, "I'm better than you Americans," and that worked. And that worked. Yeah, exactly. That worked 35 years ago with the Iron Sheik because he was good and he actually was a dirty, cheating heel and he got away with it. Rusev cheats, but he sucks.
Right.
So, you know, it's like we can't buy him as a legitimate threat to any American because America will kick his butt from here to Tuesday. You know, it's whatever.
My guess
like you said, he's mad, he's whatever.
Yeah, my guess is by the end of the year it'll be the renewal of the classic rivalry that we're all dying to see again, and that's Jinder Mahal versus Rusev.
That would be good.
Well, no, I'd rather see 3MB get back together than that happen. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying that for the record.
Well, maybe they'll become a team again. They could be the new anti-Americans or the un-Americans.
I say they should put Mahal and Rusev and Owens and another fourth non-American together and really just tear crap up. That's what I think it should happen.
League of Nations 2.0.
Except with decent workers and a decent story, not some thrown together nonsense like.
Well, I mean, when they had Del Rio involved, it was destined for failure, anyways.
Hang on. But Del Rio had the opportunity to be great. It's just the fact that people just kept pooping on him.
Well, look how great he's doing in GFW.
Well, that's GFW though.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to have the handcuffs off, right?
The thing is, he got handcuffs put on in Orlando at the airport. So what are you gonna do about that? What are you going to do about that? I am not Jeff Jarrett's supporter, but you can't do much with that. I'm just throwing it out there.
All right.
I'm getting blocked on Twitter.
That's enough of the Alberto El Patron talk before he cuts a drunk Periscope rant on one of us.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I'm sure it won't be the last either.
Definitely not with me. Are you kidding me?
Okay, let's see where we're at here. Okay, we still got like 4 matches left.
We've been talking for 3 hours. What are you doing?
Yeah.
This show is so long. Okay, we have the U.S. title match. We have AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee. Jeff, your thoughts on this match? We'll have you go first.
I think it's almost a given that Shane McMahon's next big stunt match is going to be Kevin Owens at WrestleMania in New Orleans. So they're going to build for that starting Sunday with Owens getting somehow screwed in his own mind out of the U.S. Championship and AJ retaining. That's just the bottom line.
Jexy, your thoughts?
Same page. We're all on the same wavelength. I agree. I think Styles is going to retain. It's going to be a great match. And,
yes.
He's going to stay out of it as much as possible. And then at the end, it's going to be Kevin Owens doing something to Shane to set up for WrestleMania.
I definitely think we're going to see AJ retain, as he should, because we just had a series of title changes back and forth between the two of them. I think it needs to stay put now with AJ for a while, and the obvious direction seems to be AJ Styles going off with, I'm not even sure who at this point, maybe Jinder Mahal, I don't know.
And what I want to see is, I don't know if we saw this PWG or not, but I'd like to see a classic old school Kevin Steen versus then AJ Styles. Just go to town, pretend there's 20 people in the building, and just tear it up and have an awesome match.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be doing that. I think the match is going to be built around Shane, and
which is so sad.
That's going to take away.
Because I crap on Kevin Owens, but he's so good, and AJ is just the best in the world right now. And the fact that they're going to rely on Shane McMahon as the gimmick of this match is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I think the match will be good, but I think the Shane involvement is going to distract from what they're capable of doing.
Oh, dear. Yeah, you're probably right, which sucks. But, that's why you're the boss.
All right, we got 3 matches left. We're almost done here. We have the SmackDown Women's Championship. We have Naomi defending against Natalya. Now, on SmackDown this week, we saw Natalya tap out Becky Lynch, which really surprised me. I did not think that was going to happen because at Battleground, Becky Lynch was actually protected. So I was surprised to see her submit here on SmackDown as just a prelim wrestler almost. I was very shocked by that. I don't think Naomi's losing the title, though. I think Naomi is doing well. I mean, some people like the character, some don't. But the fact is, she's got this unique character that stands out. The whole Feel the Glow thing, it makes her different. She has this larger-than-life persona now with her entrance and everything. And she's doing really well. She's a good representative. Now WWE can sell the glow-in-the-dark title belts. From a merchandising standpoint, it makes sense to keep her as champion. I as much as I like Natalya and would like to see her win, I don't think it's going to happen. Jexy, what do you think?
I agree. I think Naomi's going to keep it. But then you have Carmella.
Yes.
To factor into that as well. I hope Carmella doesn't win. I hope it's a matter of she does come and cash in, and then Naomi still, beats her ass and still retains.
Maybe Carmella will fail also, like Corbin did.
What a tragedy! Both of them fail in the same year. What a tragedy of justice that would be. Good grief.
Ellsworth distracts her or something, and she, it's whatever. I don't know.
Okay, my secondary pick is what you just said. My secondary pick is Naomi retains and Carmella cashes in and wins the championship. But we also keep in mind, and Jexy, you should know better than anybody, being a 1997 WWF fan. 20 years ago, this pay-per-view was Heart and Soul. This year is Heart versus Glow, as Natalya said repeatedly on social media. And I think Natty is going to prove that Bret Hart's legacy at SummerSlam will remain intact. The Hart family will remain intact at SummerSlam. Natalya wins the championship here.
I thought about that. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see it happen. I'm a big Natalya fan. I think she deserves a run with the title.
I think everybody that has cheered for Natalya since her last Divas title run, which I think was 7 years ago now, has been cheering for that since.
I just think Naomi's doing so well with her whole gimmick that I could see WWE from a marketing standpoint not wanting to take the title off of her right now.
And I would agree with that. I think the better scenario of the two is Naomi retaining and Carmella cashing in to just send Naomi into overdrive and regain the championship at a later date. But my heart is with the Hearts, and I think Natalya's going to win.
All right. I just hope Carmella doesn't leave with the title.
I do too, to be honest with you. I hope not, but you know what? I honestly wouldn't be surprised or really all that disappointed if it does happen, because Carmella, as much as she didn't earn the brief contract the first time around.
There you go, Jeff.
I'm fired now too, Vince. Sorry. She didn't earn it this first time around, but she did get it the second time around, and she's been a consistent thorn and always ever present since on SmackDown. So it would not surprise me. It really wouldn't even disappoint me, but I'd rather see Nia just flat out win.
All right. Well, I'd like to see it happen as well. We'll see if maybe WWE shocks everybody with that one. But anyways, we got the other women's championship match, which is Alexa Bliss defending against Sasha Banks. It was originally supposed to be Bayley, but Bayley got hurt, and WWE came up with this little mini tournament that Sasha ended up winning. She beat Nia Jax on Raw, tapping her out. So Nia Jax, who's supposed to be the female Andre the Giant, tapped out to Sasha Banks.
Yeah,
and that's not the first time.
So funny that they released the interview with Nia Jax saying that Vince see her as Andre the Giant, and she taps it on Monday. Like, did Andre ever tap that? Like, freaking ever? Really? I mean, come on.
Yeah, something's not adding up there.
Both shows are having complete mental blocks on booking like last couple weeks. It's been like really frustrating to watch.
But anyways, Jexy, we'll have you go first. Your prediction for this match?
I think after the last match, last pay-per-view where Alexa walked out, did the count out, that Sasha's going to go clean.
I agree with you.
I
agree with you on that. I think Sasha's going to win the title here, and I'm not sure what the next feud is because Sasha tapped out Nia Jax. I'm assuming Alexa will get her rematch. I could see them maybe doing Hell in a Cell. Maybe they'll do a women's Hell in a Cell match again. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff?
I think the original plan was for Bayley to finally get her win over Alexa and stop the nonsense losing streak that she's been on for months now. Having said that, I think they're going to continue with the plan going forward and have Sasha be the one to beat Alexa and end her reign of terror as the goddess. As far as putting Alexa and Sasha in Hell in a Cell, I don't think Alexa is on the level that I don't think Alexa or Sasha right now is on the level that Sasha and Charlotte were a year ago at this time. I don't think they're both at that level right now. If they were to, if Bayley had stuck around and they had Bayley and Alexa build toward that, maybe so. But right now, Sasha's the number one contender. She will win at SummerSlam. That way you have a babyface Raw Women's Champion and a heel on SmackDown being Natalya be the Women's Champion, and we have that balance on shows.
Well, there you go. So we're all going with Sasha for that. We agreed on most of these matches. All right, let's see how we fare with the main event here. We have the Universal Championship match, which I did the poll on No DQ, and by far this is the match that people are expecting to be the best match. I think that way too. I think this will definitely steal the show. If it doesn't, then that has to mean either one of those other matches are going to be completely awesome or this match is going to be a huge disappointment. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this match will deliver. I think it will be a complete, insane brawl.
Barn burner.
Perfect.
It's a good word. I like that word. It's a good word.
Exactly. Now, there's a lot of different theories about this match. Of course, the big stipulation, if Brock loses the title, he's going to leave. And people are speculating, does this mean he's going to be leaving to go back to UFC? Is he going to start training for John Jones or somebody else? I think that's just WWE playing up on the rumors and speculation. I think it was very smart for WWE to do that and get people thinking that Brock might actually leave after SummerSlam. He's not leaving. He's not going anywhere. He's booked for No Mercy. He's booked for the Rumble. He's booked for WrestleMania. He's not going to be fighting until after WrestleMania. I would be very surprised if he fights before that. He has to get his suspension cleared up, and that's still going to be another 6 months at the earliest. So he's not going anywhere, which makes me think Lesnar's winning. I think Lesnar is going to retain the title. Unfortunately, as much as I would like to see Samoa Joe win the title, I think Joe's going to be the one taking the fall. And then at No Mercy, it will probably be Lesnar versus Braun Strowman if I had to make a prediction. But Jeff, we'll start with you. Your thoughts, and what do you think will be the No Mercy main event?
I'm going to say Aaron verbatim. Honestly, because that's what I was going to say anyway. I loved that Paul was just throwing in those hints that you have to cage the beast if he loses the championship. Hint, hint. And, just throwing the UFC hints out there. It was so... That's why Paul is my idol. That's why when I introduced Jexy, I am her advocate, not her manager, because of Paul Heyman right there. Lesnar retains. He defeats Joe because they can't have Roman take the fall because then Roman isn't strong. Roman took a leather office chair to the face and got up before the 10 count. He's the strongest dude in the company, period. And then you have Braun Strowman, who they're trying to protect too. And like you said, Aaron, he's a viable candidate for the pay-per-view that is coming to Staples Center, which is No Mercy. I think he'll be the contender at Staples Center in October, whatever that is, September, whatever it is.
September 24th.
Okay, I should know you're coming out here. I should know that by now. So Strowman is the guy for No Mercy. So I think this Sunday it'll be Joe taking the fall, the lesser of all evils, shall we say. And I think Brock will walk out of Brooklyn still the Universal Champion. But Jexy, what do you think?
And I would say, unfortunately, you're probably right, although I don't want you to be. I don't like Brock Lesnar. I've never been a Brock Lesnar fan, ever. Not at all, ever. I hope to see Samoa Joe go over. I think Roman Reigns and Strowman are going to be tied up together, especially with what happened with the ambulance, that he's going to try to continue on with that. Hopefully they'll bring Rollins and Ambrose, like we kind of talked a little bit about earlier, maybe in to interfere in some way to see if they can start to tie that together. But I would like to ultimately see Joe go over, but you're probably right. Lesnar will probably win.
What I would like to see here is the Shield interfere and help Roman win the championship. That way people totally just get pissed that Roman is not only a heel finally, like they all wanted, but the Shield is back together like they all wanted, so they can't help but freaking cheer.
And they're all heel. What happens if they're all heels, though?
Exactly my point, boss. That was my
original prediction. That would be awesome. I love that idea, but it's not going to happen. Not a chance in hell.
I know. But you know what? The fact that I said it and the look on your face makes me know you thought about it.
You got a legitimate good reaction out of me for that. You got a pop from me.
And I never do that in 15 years, so that's pretty good.
That is pretty impressive. I love that. I would absolutely love that. Because that would be something that we would have seen like 1998 at the peak of the Attitude Era, when Rusev was producing entertaining swerves. That would be a great swerve where you think. And
I don't care what happens in the previous 3.5 hours. If that happens, you're giving the show an A++, and you know it.
That is. I will. If the Shield reunites all three members, all three as champions, as heels to end SummerSlam, automatic A+. I will not say anything bad about WWE on Twitter for the rest of 2017. If that
Beautiful.
Happens.
You heard it here first, kids.
You did hear it here first. Now I totally forgot what else I wanted to add to this. You just completely threw me off. Oh, I just wanted to say let's get back to real life here. What I think is going to happen. Yeah. What I think is going to happen is it's going to be Lesnar versus Strowman, and then I think it's going to be John Cena versus Samoa Joe, since John Cena is booked for the Raw events and booked for No Mercy. That's why I think Cena's going to be Corbin also, because I think Cena's going to need a big win to set up Joe, right. And I think Cena's going to put over Joe. The two of them go back to UPW, and you would think that Cena especially will want to have a match with Joe before he goes off to Hollywood, and they might not have another opportunity to do a match. So I think it's going to be Joe versus Cena at No Mercy, with Joe going over, and Cena's going to go off to do his movie. And then I think we're going to see the Shield reunite as baby faces at No Mercy or the October pay-per-view.
Well, see, this is the problem with No Mercy being booked apparently so well in your eyes, because you're coming down here in theory to see that show, at least here in my living room. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, they're charging through the rear end to go to this pay-per-view, and it's not even one of the big four. And they're charging out the rear end to go to this pay-per-view.
I'll tell you what. I'll add to earlier. If we see the heel Shield members at the end, I will buy a ticket for No Mercy. I'll buy
2 tickets or one?
Hell, I'll buy 2. I'll buy one for Jeff, too, if that happens.
Roman, don't fail me, brother.
If the Shield is standing tall at the end of SummerSlam, all three holding up the championships together, with Ambrose and Rollins helping Reigns win the title, I will buy myself and Jeff Meacham tickets to No Mercy at Staples Center. Otherwise, I'm going to be sitting on Jeff's couch and watching in LA.
He'll be sitting in the big chair because he's totally right about what's going to happen on Sunday night, but that's okay.
All right, so I think we covered everything. I mean,
I think we did too. 4 hours later.
Yeah, I do not think they're going to add anything else. They might. They tend to add 1 or 2 matches at the last minute with no build-up whatsoever. So it could happen.
Because they watch our show and make sure we're wrong.
Ha!
It looks like no Hardys on this show because of
which is ridiculous.
Scott Dawson's injury. I guess they just didn't want to come up with something else, so they're just off the show. Wait, what was that?
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. FTR.
Well,
nothing.
I'd love to see the Hardys involved somehow, but unfortunately, I think they've been deleted from SummerSlam.
That's okay. I've been deleted from my friend's Facebook recently, so it's all good.
Well, that sucks. All right, so that'll wrap it up for our predictions. Thank you all for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video. And Jexy, any plugs you have?
For you guys, at Jeff Meachin, at Aaron Riff, no DQ.
_ Jeff Meacham. That's right.
Myself. Oh yeah, the underscore. Can't forget. Myself at Jexy Rocks. My mom. Myself at.
Now, for those of you that haven't been following Jexy on Twitter or Instagram, to give it a little bit of a follow-up, she is in Ohio. She's got herself a normal person job, unlike the rest of us schmucks, and she's building toward the training. She's getting there, and I'll tell you guys, she's a natural. When she starts training, watch out.
And before we go, can we officially, as all of us together, send positive thoughts and vibes to Ric Flair?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, you know what? It's funny. I had a former co-host of mine on another channel mention why Charlotte hadn't previously mentioned anything about Rick. I said, why is it your concern what she says about her father on her social media? When we have a right to know about Ric Flair's personal health, Ric Flair or somebody close to Ric Flair will tell us what we need to know, not what we think we should know.
Right.
And you know what? The greatest tweet I saw was a letter to death. Ric Flair is off limits. Go away. F off. Thank you, wrestling fans.
Amen.
If you look at all those YouTube comments, they should take Justin Bieber instead.
You know what? Nobody likes the Biebs, and I understand that. But you know what? It's
messed up. It's a messed up comment, but it is
really
funny.
And you know what? We don't need to lose Ric Flair right now. We've lost Roddy. We've lost Dusty. We've lost a lot of people. If they take Nate from us now, when his daughter's on the cusp of greatness, already is great, and when the book's coming out, it'll be tragic.
Absolutely. I mean, I talked about this on No DQ 1000. My top 10 biggest hits in WWE history, one of them has to be Ric Flair winning the 92 Rumble. I mean, that was just a classic moment.
Was the greatest wrestled and the greatest commentary called Rumble match in the history of that show.
Absolutely. Totally agree on that. I mean, Ric Flair, what else is there to say? I mean, we all are pretty much in agreement. He's one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time.
And you know what? Part of me was mad when he came to TNA and started wrestling and whatnot because it took away the specialness, I thought, of the Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania. But I look back now, it's been almost 10 years. I actually did the math the other day, thinking about when they announced what happened with Nate and his health. We were literally in the 1,000th percentile of people that saw Ric Flair's final WWE match.
Exactly.
Like, that's ridiculous math, how little of the world's population got to partake in what was a great send-off for the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, the TNA stuff doesn't even really count because nobody remembers it.
It doesn't, and you know what? The people that choose to dwell on that and remember that are just very sad, don't realize that, people need money. It is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, I would not get too worked up over that,
Well, I did at the time. I don't now.
Yeah. And maybe if TNA had actually done something and stayed a threat longer, maybe it would have been different.
What are you going to say, Jax?
No, it's hard to hang up the boots. You think that as a fan you're being cheated, but if you think about the wrestler and the talent themselves, and everything that he's done with his legacy, that's hard.
I just heard a cat. Do you have a cat there?
You heard Dylan again.
Oh, that was Dylan. Dylan sounded like a cat.
Dylan. Yeah, well, he's calling to go to bed.
Ha!
Okay, well then we better wrap this up. It's actually pretty late here on the West Coast, and even later on the East Coast. So yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Thank you both for being on tonight, and thank you all for watching. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. This weekend, we're going to have our review of NXT TakeOver. Oh, Jexy, real quick, just your thoughts on the TakeOver show and your quick predictions. Who do you think is going to win the matches? Off the top of your head.
I have no prediction.
Root or McIntyre? Root or McIntyre?
McIntyre. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
I'm going with Root too. Or not Root. I'm going with McIntyre. I think I
should pick McIntyre on this show, but I look back and I really want Bobby to win again. I love Bobby so much.
I like Root for sure, but
all right.
He's got legacy behind him. He doesn't need it.
It's true.
That is a good point. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank you guys again, and we will see you this weekend for our review videos. Stay tuned for that. You guys have a good one. Take care.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for being on. See you guys next time.
Thank you, Don.